This is the Crew Motorfest.
Here, I'm talking to you from this drone.
Who will come out as the Motorfest champion?
That's it. Gymkhana Mastery.
And this game is better than Forza Horizon 5. In many aspects, and it depends what you're looking for in a racing game, and there's some things that obviously Forza does better, and, you know, it's okay, well, right. Here's a quick list of what this video isn't. Me deluding myself into thinking that Motorfest is objectively somehow a better game entirely than Forza Horizon 5. Cope that Forza Horizon 5 is now on PlayStation. I plan to play Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation, and competition is good. Me pretending like the game isn't incredibly flawed in certain aspects. All those things still stand. I'm sure everyone, even Ivory Tower, would understand the issues that I have with the game still, but this video is about what the game is good for. Okay, let's get into it. So the big glaring connection with the two games is of course the festival aspect. Both of these games are supposed to be car festivals, and I guess music festivals as well. Everywhere in this game is littered with different kinds of festival type activities. Not just big car festivals, but also like local block parties. A lot of different areas past where cars drive, where people just stand and watch the festival stuff. There's a few different ways they differentiate, but they are definitively festival races. It just depends on which type of festival racer you prefer. I'm not too well versed in what Forza is like at the moment. This is the kind of stuff Motorfest goes for. Having all these little pockets where if you pay attention, there is a festival going on. Now, obviously people don't like festivals full stop, but if you did like festivals, this one would actually feel like one. But of course, the whole festival thing is flawed in both games. But it's vaguely related to the map, so we'll talk about it later. Let's begin with the gameplay styles. Now again, this is one of the things which kind of is just which you prefer. Forza has its own gameplay style. The Crew Motorfest gameplay style is essentially like a car Netflix. When you load on the game, you get these playlists, which are literally like TV shows. You get essentially a niche, a fully extracted niche of the car world, like off-roading or vintage cars, Lamborghini, motorsports racing, electric, dream cars, all the way to lowriders and donks and neon funk Japanese cars. All of these are put into episodes, essentially. You start it, you play it through, get vibe, get atmosphere, leave on the music, leave on the voice lines. Even the bad voice lines are intended for the experience of the playlist. You play it all the way through, and you're rewarded at the end with not only the vibe that you just experienced, but a vehicle, which you only get for completing that playlist. And then open world activities. You get challenges that you can go through to get a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of other rewards, including microtransaction currency in-game for free. A custom mode system which lets you play and experience all the tracks that playlist gave you in completely refreshed vibes while earning a currency which lets you remove the FOMO from the game. We've got open world street racing where you can catch someone in the open world as you drive around and then race them there on the spot in a unique track. The main stage Legacy, which focuses on bringing back the previous month's theme, because where the playlists are the built-in gameplay system, the main stage uses the summit and the competitive, and the main stage Legacy then brings it back, immortalizing each monthly ongoing theme and all the collaborations that they've done with all these big content creators and all the themes we've previously experienced and the vibes that we've previously experienced, again, removing FOMO. That is the gameplay of the Crew Motorfest. And all of that leads to the monthly, the weekly, the PvP, grinding to unlock vehicles yourself. The car list in the Crew Motorfest is less than the amount in Forza Horizon 5. In the Crew Motorfest, we have 758 vehicles, but the differentiation here is car variety. While Forza has 50 of different types of Hurricanes and different types of whatevers, and a bunch of them are just vague road cars that you would see on your drive to the local supermarket. They're very AI trafficy cars. Motorfest has the car variety. It's got things like lowriders with working lowrider suspension, from old school things to bolides to even bikes, boats, planes, helicopters, quad bikes, and in just 3 days, we are even getting a jet. Couple these all with the F1 cars, the monster trucks, the variety of summit cars and exclusive edition cars in the game. This game's car variety trumps Forza, no question, and is also the only open world racing game currently available with bikes. That's more than one. Bikes. Although the bikes do have their own issues that the more dedicated Motorfest player base all know about, it's undeniably an exclusive offering. And the vehicles in Motorfest are split into different categories. So we have Street 1, which is slower road cars, Street 2, which is slightly faster road cars, we've got drift cars, which are specifically tuned to drift, we'll get onto that later. Racing features literally anything you could ever see on a track, whether that be MotoGP bikes, or whether that be GT3, GT2, GT4, Le Mans cars, any type of car you would see on a track finds itself in the racing spec competing against other cars that you would find on the racing track, including modern day MotoGP cars. We've got drag cars specifically tuned for drag, with the tires, with the wheelie bar. These cars are specifically built for insane top speed and hold the highest top speeds in the game. Hypercar is big, fancy, high-end cars. Motorfest has had a big focus on exotic cars, but all these hypercars, I mean, it's kind of in the name, these are just hypercars. Alpha GP is named so because F1 hold the license to the name F1, but these are essentially F1 cars, hosting a whole bunch of Red Bulls, a KTM converted to being open wheel, concept F1 cars, and real world concept F1 cars. Motocross giving its own spec of motocross bikes. Rally Raid is a big mix of converted to off-road cars, actual off-roading base, just pickup trucks and stuff, trophy trucks, anything big and off-road is in this spec. Demolition is a spec with a bunch of fake cars, but also the Charger. These cars are fake because they have actual damage models, like full parts falling off and everything, to give a proper demolition derby feel. Rally is everything you could ever think of would even tickle the idea of rallying. Monster trucks are cars converted to monster truck, no official ones, just conversions. Then we have the boat spec of a whole bunch of real-world boats, including a Lamborghini, planes are planes, helicopters are helicopters, and the jet comes out in 3 days. And to stay on variety, in all of that I just explained, we have proper taxis with actual taxi features on them, limousines, lowriders, security vehicles, a bunch of unique edition pre-customized cars, cars by real-world customizers like Ring Brothers, Hoonigan, Yanamize, KRC Japan, police cars, real-world drift cars, as well as just spec conversions, one NASCAR-style car, and just so many concept cars, just concept car after concept car after concept car. This is undeniably a game with way more vehicle variety than Forza. When this discussion happens, specifically comparing Forza to Motorfest, you gotta think of price as well. Forza on PlayStation is selling at the full game price as if it was brand new with over £100 versions for this 4-5-year-old game. The Crew Motorfest, however, is almost constantly on discount for like £20. I'd say if you want your money's worth, buy the game when it's at like maybe £35-ish, but it is always on discount. And hashtag ad, I have a creator code on Ubisoft Connect. So if you weren't going to get it on PlayStation, you were going to get it on PC. I have a code at checkout when you're on the Ubisoft Connect launcher. and you're buying stuff at the very end, add promo code or creator code, hit SidWaj, and at no extra cost to you, it supports me. Now, this one's a little unfortunate. Post-launch updates are absolutely in Motorfest's favor, not just because Forza is now over, focusing on the very small new realms feature that they have, and instead probably working on Forza Horizon 6, where Motorfest is still an ongoing game. Well, the thing about the updates in Motorfest, regardless, is, let me tell you how they work. Every 4 months, we get a brand new update. This used to be 3, and then it was made 4 months very quickly. We have Season 1, which was this is the beginning season, it was just cars across the world. We had Hoonigan, we had a film theme, which also came with a bunch of YouTubers and real-world celebrities, like Chris Forsberg, the Drifter. We had a Lowrider v Donk update, which was more customizer-focused. I mean, Liberty Walk, Ring Brothers, Yanamize, Chaos in Japan. And then Season 5 was the Island, and the Cops, and the Japanese playlist too, and then now we're in Red Bull. That's the way it works. We also get a bunch of cars. We get one elite bundle, which is 2 cars in a bundle. Often, they are exotic hypercars. We get cars throughout the update, normally 1 early on, and then like 1 later on. We get 4 main stage cars, which are Crew 2 cars, which are brand new to Motorfest when they come back in the main stage. We get 4 Summit vehicles, which are brand new vehicles competitively unlocked. We get cars coming back in the main stage Legacy for you guys to buy, which are previous updates vehicles. We get a bunch of like changes and stuff. Updates in Motorfest are known to change the way the game works, basically, every 4 months. We've got the custom mode in a previous update. We've got changes to the Summit. There's no traffic now. We get a playlist every update. That's the main thing. The big title theme for updates is always the playlist. We get a Hoonigan playlist. We also got a Drift playlist. Often there's 2 playlists in update, but sometimes there's only 1. That sucks when there is. I think there should be more. But the playlist is the experiences that I already talked about before. But with all of this being free to the player, and you can just load on and do this stuff without spending another real-world penny on a game that is always drastically cheaper than Forza Horizon, well, it's some good stuff. Oh yeah, the Rivals. I forgot they did the Rivals. Yeah, the Rivals was last update too. There's a lot they do every 4 months, all things considered. On top of that, every week is themed. You get 4 different months with updates, but within those months, each thing has its own theme. With the RS6, with the Dark Horse, they've been adding fan favorite cars as well. For customization, there's one image I need to bring up here. It's this tweet of mine where I tweeted, "We live in a society," and then it's just a picture of this. This image should be enough proof that you need for the flaws of Forza Horizon's customization. The dreaded Forza Aero. Now, I can't deny that there is the odd car in Forza that does have great real-world body kits and proper customization that would actually appease someone wanting to customize their cars. But there's no question that Motorfest has it more and way more spread over. There is cars with up to 70 different front bumper options. And brand new cars, unless they're racing or hypercar or rally raid, all the other cars get proper fleshed out different types of customization available as soon as they're dropped for admittedly racers, but as you can see, if you want to more subtly customize your car, that's there as well. And just scrolling through like a fair few of my cars, you can see the different types of customizations I've made to cars because there's so many different types of customizations on offering. The vanity system, although that is part of the paid side of it, which does suck, offers an extra layer, except you can see that I don't really use vanities too often. Instead, I normally just use the very basic ones, or just basic tires to begin with. The game allows for many different things to be done over so many cars. It is rare. It is rare and always sucks when we do get a car with no customization, but it sucks more because it's always so rare when it happens. This is not a system without flaws. We can't lower cars, we can't change the license plates. Good car for an example there. As well as not really having a way to properly, like, fully visual camber the cars. Instead, we're kind of just left with what we're left with. The livery system at the moment isn't up to scratch. Yet still phenomenal liveries are made for any and every car. I mean, look at this. This used to be a Porsche 959. Now, it's whatever the hell this is. Straight up Need for Speed customization. And then every now and then we get exclusive edition versions. Now, all of the edition versions will be made buyable eventually, which is what we'll get onto. But I think the Crew's just regular edition cars is a better system than Forza's Forza edition cars, as these cars can be any kind of different gimmick. We have a Black Panther, YouTuber's customized car. We have a British edition car. We have a R8 turned into like a McLaren Elva. God, now this thing isn't new anymore, and it's just like a thing in the game. What a vehicle. They've gone so over the top on so many different edition cars in the game. One of my personal favorites, the Lucky Dragon Edition Skyline. I mean, look at this thing. And we get about one of these every single month, as well as, if you're new to Motorfest, you get one of the ones from the Crew 2 returning to you for free every month. And while we're at customization, let's talk about the engine swaps. Engine swaps in this game aren't like Forza engine swaps. Instead, we get engine vanity audio signatures, which allow you to, instead of having to fiddle around with putting a different engine in the game, yada yada, doing all of that stuff, you can unlock engine swaps and engine kits from different playlists. And this includes any kind of vehicle system. At the moment, the big popular one is anti-lag. The one you can unlock at the moment this month is a straight cut gear system. These are really thrown at you from the playlists to the summits to the main stage. You can get engine kits everywhere. You've got backfire kits that just change the backfire. Kits which just upgrade and add stuff like a turbo or just boosting it, or adding the clunk gearbox, or an ultracharger, which is an insane supercharger kit, or full-on swaps where it changes the whole sound of the engine to a V6, V8, an F1 V8, a flat 4 old school, an inline 4 turbo rally, electric, and you can turn any car EV, flat 6, V12, V-twin, rotative. You get the point. The difference with this engine swap system as well is this can be done to so many more cars than in Forza. You get to keep the upgrading system that the game already provides you, while having even the most stubborn of car companies letting you change the vehicle sound of their car. Look, I can turn this thing into an EV if I wanted. And Ferrari, they don't want to say a thing. I genuinely would say there is less than 20 cars in the whole game that you cannot put engine swaps in. And that's an estimate. I might be wrong. And when I say I might be wrong, I mean there may be even less. And they're adding new ones all the time, and they're always doing some kind of unique gimmick. Like at the moment, they're really loving straight cut gear kits. They did a rally one, a race one, and who's to know what they do next? Of course, you still may prefer Forza's more limited but more realistic engine swap system, but you also might prefer this one. Speaking of the ways you unlock these edition vehicles, this month is amazing because it's an edition plane, but it's okay because we're also getting a jet next week. But this is the weekly gameplay system that Motorfest has to offer. See this as the replacement to the festival playlist, where the festival playlist is a list of things to complete to unlock the cars that week. The summit is a little different. The summit uses theming and focuses on theming. Just like Forza, it uses events that are already in-game. However, they've implemented a system where those events, instead of looking anything like the original version of those events, they are instead given the fresh coat of paint, this time around being the Koenigsegg selection week, as this is a week celebrating Koenigsegg. The basic events from the playlists in the game can even be done up to this degree, where they are changed up to match the week's current theme. The whole thing about the Crew Motorfest is that it's a real weekly theme kind of game, with the occasional over-the-top thing that they do. In fact, if you're new to the game, I'd recommend playing the summit like it's a weekly playlist. Immerse yourself in the theme. But yes, the weekly in this game has more purpose than just some events to do every week. Unlike Forza, where you just get to a certain point and then unlock the cars, in the Crew Motorfest, it's all about competing. These events that you do every week will rank you and give you points that then put you on an overall leaderboard. And depending on where you finish, get these rewards. Every single week has a car for gold, so you can get a base model car if you hit gold every week. The platinum reward will often be just some kind of vanity item for the majority of summits, and then some okay-ish rewards often for bronze and silver. Here we get 100,000 XP and 150,000 in-game currency. And then at the end of every month, we get one summit, which actually gives us an exclusive, only given to those top 10,000 player vehicle rewards. Don't worry, we'll get onto it. And this is all part of the monthly. The monthly in this game focuses on, unfortunately, playing the game as you want to play it. But that just means it gives you, it can be a bit aimless. But what it also means is you get to play the game exactly how you want to. You have the revisit track with 4 levels, which you level through by just playing events in the game. You've got the compete track, which again, 4 rewards, and gives you XP for competing, whether that be the PvP or the summit. And then the explore track, which gives you XP for the stuff that you can do around the map. And this all leads to the bigger level, where every month there's a brand new progression system. Level 10 has a unique vanity item, and level 3 will feature a car returning from the Crew 2. Because the cars that players unlocked competitively in the Crew 2 are still locked to the Crew 2. They've just slowly been coming back. I mean, we've gone through so many by this point, but they're slowly coming back in the main stage. All you have to do is level up to level 3. The levels go up to level 50, where you can just get name tags. There's rewards, there's challenges. That's the monthly system. But let's move on to one of the biggest positives, and that is the dreaded FOMO. See, Forza at the end of its life cycle does the backstage thing now, but throughout the whole time that Forza runs, they really focus on FOMO, with cars being in auction houses for like 20 million. However, the Crew 2 used to follow in those footsteps, and then the Crew Motorfest has decided to fully abandon the FOMO idea. And with a handful of exceptions, those only being the customization options like the vanity items, vehicle FOMO is being completely abolished. If you don't know what FOMO is, it's the thing that games do where they have weekly things and monthly things and seasonally things that you have to go on and get, or else you're never gonna be able to get them again, and they're gonna cost £1 billion, or you have to wait till the backstage system or whatever. The Crew has done away with all of that. I talked about the Crew 2 cars being exclusive to the Crew 2 still. Well, like I said, those cars are brought back in the main stage. But once the main stage finishes, literally the update right after main stages come back as main stage legacies, which allow you to play and engage in the theme that happened that update, and also unlock the main stage car from that update from that month, essentially acting as a pseudo playlist, preserving themes and preserving people's access to these cars. So if you did miss out on a certain month, you just gotta wait 4 months after. And if you join the game right now, you have all the previous months ready to get, with a car for each and every single one. Like I said, the summit includes an exclusive vehicle at the end of each month. That returns 2 updates after. It's the update that it happened, then an update, then an update, then they come back in the Prestige ticket store. These are competitive rewards, so Ivory Tower does give players a bit more time of exclusivity to them than just the main stage cards, which are free to get them in the beginning. But you can now, using the Prestige system, which is essentially the long-term progression in the game, the completion of the game for all of the completionists out there, you use that currency that you get from doing that to purchase summit cars and previous summit rewards, including custom show rewards. So essentially, you will never have to worry about FOMO in this game. They've removed FOMO and instead focus on the occasional year pass. The map. There's a few things about the map. Let's start with something small. The map is the map. The map isn't a JPEG that represents the map. The map in this game is like, look, there is me. If I go out, I'll be there straight away. Or I can immediately zoom out and view the map. When there's thunder going on, you can see thunder thundering from this like zoomed out map. Not to mention the fact that this map is multiple times bigger than Forza's map, with the volcano being active and gushing smoke, which you can see from all the way over on the other island. We've got two different types of cities. We've got a more flat city with... Oh, I was literally talking about the lightning, and now it's lightning. Lightning? Lightning. We've got a more flat, lower profile city with wider roads. We've got a more bustling skyscraper-fueled city. And then we have a whole bunch of smaller towns with different gimmicks and different things everywhere. We have an off-road track. We have actually two volcanoes, because there's a volcano over here too. Docks, water, obviously you can actually go on the water. You can go fully vertical upwards, and the clouds actually behave like clouds. We have actual verticality. Look at this. Like, actual regular bits of the map have verticality. Can you believe it, guys? Not being completely desolate and flat in a current day racing game? This thing goes upwards. Something I love more about the map is how intricately detailed it is. You can go to any place off the road in this map, and I don't just mean off-road. Every area has thought through internal places. The suburban areas make sense. Every town has each level of school, a fire station, a hospital is a reasonable distance from everywhere. All the places that aren't on the map actually are thought through. I love the little details on this map. And we actually have proper cities. Cities that you can go on the roofs of because of the helicopters and everything. The shopping centers you can actually drive up into. Endless amounts of forest to explore if you really cared enough. But what are you exploring forest for? And the crew have solidified time and time again. They've actively said that every single update the game ever gets will have map changes. This began early on. Hoonigan was the first post-launch update, which added this little stunt park island. A way more subtle one was the Waikiki Shell, the theater, being updated to have the High Ride movie playlist theme around it. Lowrider vs. Donk adds little block party areas. And I think the season after that added something else. I'm just forgetting. Oh yeah, the whole island of Maui, the map size doubled. For free for all players. We'll get to that. And the Red Bull update added a whole Red Bull, essentially another festival location. This one, honestly, I have to say, really is Atomic Bomb versus Coughing Baby. Motorfest's map, you could disagree on everything else in this video. Motorfest's map is potentially the most solidified, better than Forza Horizon thing. And there's so many hidden gems, like this. Like, look at this place. This place is sick. Am I gonna tell you where it is? No. But like, it's really cool to just come in here and take photos of cars. Speaking of the map, I guess it's time to talk about DLC. Forza has car packs. They have car packs after car packs after car packs. But then they also have paid expansions, where the Crew Motorfest has the year passes, where for £20, I think, or 25, maybe 30, you can get the year 1 pass, which features 25 vehicles, and 23 of those the average player can just buy. But buying the pass will give them to you for free in-game, as well as the 2 cars that players in-game can't buy, the Charger Red Eye and the Chevrolet Chevelle. These are locked to only year 1 pass owners. On top of that, the year 1 pass gives you 5 different cars that can be used in 4 different playlists. Essentially, instead of having only like 3 playlists available to you when you first launch the game, you get about 7 available to you, and you don't have to grind to get the car for them. Then comes the year 2 pass, which is currently ongoing, which is similar to the year 1 pass, where you get early access of 1 week, and the car gets immediately put into your account rather than having to buy it. There's gonna be about like 22 in this pass, but this one has a lot more value, where it has 7 different cars that non-year 2 pass holders can't have. That's all of these police concept cars that you're seeing. These cars are only for the pass holders, as well as a police playlist, so a full gameplay experience for police, and then 13 other cars that you get early access to. You get them for free in game, but eventually everyone can indeed buy them. And finally, the Audi that I was laughing at earlier, this thing you get by, it's bundled along with at no extra cost with the £16 crew credit, so the microtransaction currency. You buy that for the first time, you get this thing. So that's how Motorfest monetizes. Again, without having FOMO, and instead of being car packs, it's just one pass per year. But let's talk about what it doesn't lock behind a paywall. The expansions. That's the obvious thing. These zero load times, can teleport from one to the other immediately, can drive across them. Expansion was free for all players. Same with the map changes. Same with if they ever add another island, where Forza separates their island expansions with paid and unpaid. Also, I might be wrong. Is Maui not... Oh, what the hell? Forza's attacking me. No! Microsoft got hold of what I was doing. They figured it out. Am I wrong in saying that Maui is also, like, bigger combined than the Rally and the Hot Wheels expansion? Not to mention the fact that we're gonna get more islands. But it's stuff like those year passes that fund that. Next is the PvP in-game. The PvP in this game is two different types. One is the Grand Race, which is a 3 different vehicle switching, 3 different stint, 28 player competitive enough race. Now everyone's cars in the Grand Race is put to the same level. You're all on a level playing field. Yes, the car itself will have different attributes, but they'll all be at the same vehicle rating. Motorfest's PvP is a lot more focused on fun than anything else, which is shown by what they've been doing recently, where they've been putting brand new unique types and modes into the PvP. And then the ever underrated Demolition Royale. The Demolition Royale in this game is essentially the Battle Royale, and it is 10 times better than Forza's Battle Royale. This one actually features fighting. It uses the demolition vehicles in-game with power-ups and an actual system if you get into it with damage and an ultimate ability. There is so much in the Demolition Royale than just the surface, but people don't really go for it, they go with the Grand Race. But play the Demo Royale, it's brilliant, man. The PvP, it depends what you're looking for. Motorfest has those two offerings that focus more on just a bit of fun. And that's it. The fundamental aspects of the Crew Motorfest that differ from Forza, and some that I think are better than Forza. Now, Forza is still a good game in its own right. My final point on the matter is that Forza is more the car guy's car game. The one who wants to drive any basic Fiesta or the real basic cars. The AI traffic cars, essentially. Those things, the mechanic by day, couch dad by night. It's the mainstream one, where Motorfest is more focused on gameplay and fun, with its focus on experiences, with its focus on the Grand Race and the weekly theme. Motorfest is a car niche game. It's a game where you want the type of player that it's immediately for. And look, it caters to a lot of players, like competitive and customizers and drag racers and cruisers. But the main player that it should draw in is if you go, oh, I want to experience a Donkin Lowrider atmosphere. I want to experience a police vibe. A neon funk Japanese racing vibe. Red Bull, Hoonigan. A scenic cruise through a muscle cars, the Porsche playlist, Donut Media, one of the best ones. This is a car experiences car game, and that's where I think they differ. It's gonna be about it from me in a bit.